I returned from my trip to Germany with a bit of relief. While I enjoy being in other countries, I'm increasingly starting to dislike the process of getting to the other countries. But that's a story for another time. I think my favorite part about coming home to Albania is that things are so familiar. It's very different from where I grew up, but after almost 7 years here, I've learned how things work and what to expect. And while Germany can be nice for its structure and, well, things just working the way they're supposed to, it's unfamiliar to me. So it's nice to be back where I'm comfortable. We had one final game in the basketball season, so I made one final trip in the van across the country to Fear, where we completed our season. 0 wins. And on the drive back, I couldn't help but smile as all of the trees showed off their best colors with the warming weather.
Creation is a video game. When you look at YouTube, when you look at the dials you get to do, yeah, the strategy of it, and then you're talking to other people about their strategy. You should be talking about it. Look, it is shocking. And I think that is something I'm curious for.
This is cool. I was trying to figure out what was going on here. Like these circular patterns underneath the umbrellas. And I realized it's been raining really hard for the last few days, and probably all the water that drips from this has been indenting the sand. And so these umbrellas have this almost crop circle look to them.
But I guess that smile came too soon, because apparently winter still hasn't come to terms with the old ladies of April, as the weather turned cold and rainy, and that rain turned to snow. Snow that was mostly gone by the next sunset.
What is this? It is April. I literally was filming spring flowers this morning. What the heck? Ah. What is this? What is happening? This is crazy, man.
In April?
What is this? It's supposed to be spring. Where's the spring? Oh my gosh. All right, well, here we go again.
I've sat for hours reflecting on the basketball season, writing and rewriting a way to accurately express my feelings on what happened over the last 7 months. Ultimately, I came to the conclusion that the mature and professional thing to do was to not air out dirty laundry in public. I'm not sure what will happen next year or if this club will even form a team again. But I do know one thing is for sure. I'm so happy that this season is over. And I know that younger me would have been proud for playing overseas, getting paid to play, and most of all for sticking out a really rough season. But now that basketball was done, I felt like my schedule cleared up a bit. I didn't have to be in practice every evening, which in turn allowed me to do things during the day and push my daily work to the evenings. And I planned to take full advantage of it. I took a first small step, hopping into the van and heading into the mountains toward Guri Kamjes. There's not much there other than rocks, trees, and grass, but I wanted some space to get away from the city and breathe. And I had just come into view of Guri Kamjes when disaster struck.
Well, I got out of the car to fly the drone, and I shut the door behind me, and I thought, you know what, sometimes if I don't open the door perfectly, it locks. So I thought, with the keys running, the keys on, the thing running, maybe I shouldn't leave that in there. And so what I ended up doing is I went over to open the door, and all the doors locked as soon as I tried to open it. So now the car is running, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and all the doors are locked. This is not how I wanted this day to go. Let's make sure all the doors are locked. Yep, that's locked. I should have rolled the window down, I usually do. Everything is locked. The driver's side door might be a little open. And the only positive is that there's a little bit of a gap here, but I don't know if it's enough to get a stick through or anything. Nope, you can't even see it. I'm honestly not sure what I'm gonna do. Like, no one comes on this road. Maybe I can call someone, but I'm 30 or 40 minutes out from anywhere, and I don't think leaving my car is a great idea, but it might be my only option. Maybe I can find a stick to unlock the door or something. I don't know. This is not good. That's a nice view, honestly. No idea how that happened, and the wind knocked over the camera anyways. I just pulled on the door and it opened. It was locked and I just pulled it. Okay, now I'm keeping this window rolled down in case the same thing happens. I'll roll it up a little bit. But man, that's not the first time that's happened. You'd think I'd learned my lesson. I did not. Anyway, time to fly the drone.
I don't know why. After the many times this has happened to me, pulling hard on the door actually worked. It doesn't make any logical sense, but I wasn't asking any questions about my luck at that moment and just decided to be thankful and enjoy the surroundings, and to not make that mistake again. I spent some time wandering around the different corners of this small area, looking for a place to come back later in the spring and camp. There are plenty of branches around for firewood, incredible views, and it's isolated from many of the surrounding population. The only struggle might be the wind and finding a level spot to park. But I had an early evening meeting that day, so I had to get home before the sun set. And as I bounced along the dirt and gravel road with hollow coves playing through my speakers, I thought about how blessed I am to be able to enjoy this type of excursion. I drove through a handful of villages, with countless eyes staring at the van as I passed. Here I am, driving up to and through their villages for a leisurely afternoon activity, in a country that's not my own, thousands of miles away from where I was born. I took the time to actively appreciate the fact that I have these kinds of opportunities when many of those standing in fields watching my building cloud of dust may never have the opportunity to leave their birth country.
Gabri was asking where I was. I had no idea who you were talking. I didn't hear who you were talking about. I thought it was one of those annoying little kids.
Oh,
Money.
That's gonna spend. When money
ja.
drop in Albania, we say that's gonna be gone.
Maar wees nou
Thank
deze.
you, James, for
Yo,
Thanks.
of course. He said don't go because I'm up here.
No, I'm up here and like the internet connection is going to my phone. You gonna send them? Go, stay there.
Oh, James.
What'd you say? I'm gonna take him. Yeah.
You gonna send them in Tirana? You gonna stay with them?
Sneeze Master General.
What?
And a few days later, I got a phone call that meant I needed to take another trip into the mountains, but this time in a different direction.
Which thing I care more about, you know?
Yeah. Here he's doing
I'm working on a really interesting documentary project that will take at least a year to finish. I don't want to share all the details yet, but I'm happy to be working on something that is outside my typical realm of video style. When I work on big projects like this, I really get to flex my filmmaking muscles and see if the final form is what we planned at the beginning.
Such a nice view of the lake, man.
Yeah.
I should come up here and have a barbecue.
Even.
And with basketball being done, Monty and Snell needed a ride to the airport. So I planned a short solo trip as a small celebration of my newfound freedom of time. Between dropping the guys off and my flight out a few days later, I spent some time in Tirana, catching up with my friend Ben and wandering around the city.
Yeah.
Do you want these guys? And he can go and look at their stats and look at, but he just says, yeah, sure.
But is it similar to like a draft in which, like, if you finish at the top of
I captured every corner I could see as the world turned blue, ending my time in Tirana with a bite to eat and a long night's sleep before my upcoming trip. Thanks for sticking with me. I'll be back soon.